welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Oceania Hundoke with Reverend Yutaka Yamada, which is the 5th day of our second 40-day condition, being Sunday the 28th of March or the 16th day of February in the 9th year of Chongyalguk. So greetings to everyone, and let's begin by offering a bow to our Heavenly Parent and True Parent. Chariot Kyombe. Paro. And let's recite our family pledge, both in Korean and English. Thank you.
가족맨세 5. 전위국 주인, 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 매일 유체적 전산 세계와 대산적 지산 세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 5. Our family, the owner of Chongyalguk, pledges to strive every day to advance the unification of the spirit world and the physical world as subject and object partners by centering on true love. And for our opening prayer, it's hard to choose. So I wonder if Mary Moriarty could offer the opening prayer. Thank you. Please unmute. Yep.
Most beloved Heavenly Parent, we're so grateful for your love, for your guidance, for your truth. So grateful for our true parents who've invested everything, sacrificing so much in order to bring your truth to this world, your children, to have us transform ourselves and to return to you to be your true and beautiful children. Heavenly Parent, we're so sorry that you have suffered so much throughout history, ever since the Adam and Eve. And so many times you've invested and you prepared situations and circumstances for us to respond to you and to forward your providence. And so many times we've failed. Heavenly Parent, we're so sorry. And every time there's been more suffering because of that. But now we're living at the most amazing time in human history. That our true parents have brought such a victory, and our true mother is working so hard to restore this world. And at this time we have so much hope, so much amazing hope to establish Chongyalguk in every nation. The leaders, political, religious and cultural leaders from around the world are responding. And we pray that they can totally transform their nations by receiving the blessing, and the blessing can be shared throughout their entire country. Heavenly Parent, I pray that you can be with us this morning as we hear our true mother's word. And I pray for each and every one of us throughout Oceania, that we can really have deep inspiration to transform ourselves, to become your beautiful children. Heavenly Parent, we thank you so much. We offer this prayer in the name of Douglas, Mary and Carlos Moriarty. Bless Central Family. Jew.
Jew. Jew. Thank you, everyone, and welcome to our morning Hundake with Reverend Yutaka Yamada. So let's give him a warm greeting. Thank you.
Good morning, our brothers and sisters. Thank you for today to join this morning from the K. Today is Sunday, and really appreciate to meet everyone, and really happy and to grateful to see and to have the time together to offer our Johnson to our heavenly parents and true parents today also. So really we will begin the new day together with Fundok. And also our Oceania newsletter was published already. I hope you could receive already. So really each nation and also each leaders or each community, you offer and invest a lot of providential activities. So I really appreciate your heart and your Johnson, so we can also develop continuously. Today's family pledge, also we said our family donor Chonikook pledge to strive every day to advance the unification of the spirit world and the physical world as subject and object partners by centering on true love. So we are striving every day to advance unification of the spiritual world and physical world. Each moment is creating day and to advancing day and to cooperate together for new world. That's why when we reflect ourselves, and we will reflect what things is going on now in currently, we can see that all our brothers and sisters effort investment, and also our true mothers leading and initiation and investment and sacrifice, so we can put our heart together and also go forward. And yesterday we really appreciate the many members to share your experience and testimony, and also every time if you have those kind of precious meeting with God or realization with God, also I'm appreciate for you to share to others that they can feel and they can share your experience together. And yesterday we share about the message about the book which Trumada mentioned, The Good Earth. So I thought this book is not so much famous, but really I surprised many people also read this book. And yesterday, Mrs. Mary and also Mrs. Jacinta share about this book. So I wonder, someone also have read this book before, The Good Earth? Ah, I see, okay, few people. So I researched this one. So this author is the Pearl Seidenstrickerbach. She is American, and when she was 3 months, age 3 months, so after born, and the 3 months after she was born, her family went to China as the missionary. So her family is the missionary family, and she grew up in China, and she thought she is Chinese. So that much she spent and she lived in China. And also she was awarded the Pulitzer Prize in 1931, and also she was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature 1938. So she received this book that she wrote this book is in 1931. That's why really the old book. But in this book you can see this main person really fight and live in his life with husband and toward his destiny and his fate, and he tried to overcome. Even he was the poor person, but many challenging, but overcome together. And how his wife, I'm talking about this book, The Good Earth. His wife also suffering together with him, but also she overcoming many times. And finally, they are going back to the earth, going back to the God's bosom. So those kind of a story. So I think in currently also we can buy in the shop. So if you have opportunity, if you can get this book, The Good Earth, then we can feel and find the contents. How Trumada was reading that book and how Trumada was finding the message through the books. How we can lead, how we can live, and how we can overcome, and how we can go back to our heavenly parents and true parents. So anyway, this content is good, and we try to connect our things together with our true mother and our heavenly parents. So let's read the next part. Okay. Without sacrifice and service, one cannot even begin to think one is living for the sake of others rather than for oneself. As I strictly cultivated my faith from a young age, I cherished a dream deep within my heart. The dream was to liberate my Heavenly Father, who throughout history gave himself for the salvation of humanity. I wished to free him from the chains of our fallen history. When we talk about living for the sake of others, without the concept, without sacrifice and service, we cannot say to live for the sake of others. Even we are talking about living for the sake of others, or even we say we are doing for others, we are doing living for the sake of others. But if there is no sacrifice, if there is no service for others, then this action to live for the sake of others, the action for something, this all purpose is for who? For those person or for myself? That's why also Mother mentions without sacrifice and service, those action is really for living for the sake of others or not. Feeling God's heart and also finding God's circumstances. True Mother is investing and also spend the life, how she can liberate and free our Heavenly Father from the fallen history and the painful history. So this is also became our True Mother's dream, because True Father also met Heavenly Parents. True Mother also met the Heavenly Parents. Because of meeting, because of heartistic connection with our Heavenly Parents, automatically this also become the dream. How to serve and how to release and how to liberate our parents from the painful history or from the miserable situation from the history. So True Mother also went through those historical moments. When we cannot meet God from a position of reigning over others, He finds us when we are silently working for the sake of those in greater difficulty than ourselves. I came to know that when we think about God's will from the lower position, the position of offering and self-sacrifice, God's bitterness washes away and He will come to us. If we go down and if we sacrifice in the lower position, then that moment we could meet God, because God is there. God is going the same position, the lower and lower position, and sacrificing for the peoples. So our heart, where and which direction our heart is toward and going for. So if we are staying just a comfortable position and just do something conditionally, then it's not easy to meet God. if we go to the front line, if we go to the suffering place, and if we go low down to spend time together with the person who are facing greater difficulty, then we could meet God, and even we can release or wash out God's bitterness or suffering heart. During the post-war years, the streets of Seoul were full of the wounded. Numerous children, including war orphans, were suffering from hunger and disease. Few people were able to get timely treatment when they became sick. I wanted to heal people's injuries, relieve their pain, and guide them to a brighter world. As it was time for me to enter high school in the spring of 1959, I entered St. Joseph Nursery School. In order to heal the people's injury, relieved their pain, Chimada entered the St. Joseph Nursery School. So, in also same, the story in the books, when Chimada read the good earth, she could realize many kind of things. Accept the life itself and accept everything is under God's bosom and God's guidance. Everything started from God, and everything finally will be end with God. Even that kind of circumstances, people are suffering, but in the place, God is there, and we will live for liberation for the difficult person. Then we can find real people's heart and real God's heart, and Chirmada realized actually God was living together with those persons. So in that time, under the circumstances after Korean War, or under those kind of battle, World War II and Korean War, many people were sacrificed, many people were suffering on the street, and no place to stay and nothing to eat. Chirmada saw directly those kind of situation. And still now, if you go to another country, still some country have those situation. I don't know how Oceania countries, island nation, is still okay, right? Is there some suffering place or difficult place? There is no place to stay, no food, no house. Is there some island nation like this now? Still okay? Australia is no problem, right? New Zealand, I think no problem. Some island nation, some nation is also good. Some nation a little bit difficult. When I went to India, maybe someone went to India. I went to India, the central station, the main station in India. But there many people is sleeping in the central station. And there is one kind of a big stadium. But when I went into the stadium is kind of the also many people's sleeping place. And also when I went to the bus terminal, even bus terminal, so many people is there, but suddenly one women sit down, and also some do some toilet, number 2 and number 1 or something. So in some country still facing the difficult situation, even India countryside, and many children, no place to stay. And I think you are also, as a missionary, you visited to Africa or several nations. So when we visit to those nations, still many people are facing difficulty or suffering. That's why when we guide the young people, if we bring the young people, second generation or young people, to bring that island nation, bring difficult country, to spend 1 week, 10 days to serve them to the service project and live together with them, then their concept was totally changed. When I take care of the young people, I take care the ALT, and I received the 20 American second gen that time, and we spent together to Philippines, Malaysia, and Nepal. So that time when we visited to Nepal, actually just 10 years ago, when we visited to Nepal in the winter time, 16 hours, there is no electricity, even cold winter time, no hot water, and of course, cannot use the hot shower and no washing machine. So this American second gen, when they visited to Philippines, they visited to Malaysia, they are so much proud. My nation is best. My America is the best country. They so much pride, and they are really when went to Philippines, they are proud. Yeah, America is good. They went to Malaysia, they also said, yeah, America is of course best country. I'm great. There looks not easy country. But when they went to Nepal, spent 1 month and eating food, all member is eating only one meal or 2 meal a day. And no shower, and also no electricity for 16 hours. And also in God we spend together in the center, and center life because of cold. But when we see the center in the blanket, looks like maybe few months they didn't wash. So heavy, little bit dirty blanket, and of course smelly or that kind of situation. But so cold, even they don't want to use that kind of blanket, but no choice. They use this blanket together and also eat the food 1 or 2 meal a day, and spend 1 month together with our Nepali brothers and sisters, same things. So before that, they have many kind of comparison, complaining, and every time proud how USA is great. But after spending the suffering moment in Nepal, their concept was totally changed. After Nepal, we visited to Cambodia to spend 1 month again. Then their attitude was totally changed. They appreciate, now we can eat 3 meals a day. Now we can take a shower well, and they spend a good moment together. So totally they appreciate. In the beginning they said, best food, do you know best food? Why Asian is eating every time rice? But they said, best food is hamburger. You know hamburger? There is bread, there is meat, and there is vegetable. How much healthy and a good meat. So he shared to us always, and why rice, why food, why meal like this? But after Nepal went to Cambodia, everything appreciate, and also their concept is changed to tell us, actually Nepali brothers and sisters is great. Actually Malaysian brothers and sisters was really investment well. Actually Philippine brother and sister was great. Actually this Cambodian brother and sister was great. Even externally may be different, but as the people's life, they are also same as me, same as us. They are also living well. They are really put their investment for their life. So after spending the difficult moment, our American second gen brothers and sisters concept was totally changed, and they went back to America. That's why spending the difficult country or spending challenging moment and really go down to lower place to meet them, spend them, and love them, then people could realize God's heart, and people could realize these people's deep heart and personality and themselves. So when we guide our second generation, third generation, and our youth people, we have to organize, and we can visit to bring our young people to our Fiji, Vanuatu, or several island nations to spend together as the experience to love the different culture, and they can learn and they could overcome many things. Okay, so this is True Mother's Life. The student years. 1950, Began study at Hyochan Elementary School, Seoul, 1954. Transferred to Senior Elementary School in Jeju, 1955. Transferred to Pongwi Elementary School, Chuncheon, 1956. Began study at Sonjeong Girls Middle School, Seoul, and 1959. Began study at St. Joseph School of Nursing. So this is Trumada's course. And Trumada during the student years. Character, quiet and gentle by nature. Gave school presentations with confidence. Grew up under Temonim's strict guidance. Daily life of faith, attending heaven. Lifestyle linked to read books and listen to music. Led a chaste life like that of a nun. Testimonies. She is a sacred person among all in heaven and earth. She will marry a man much older than her. He will become the commander-in-chief of the army, the navy, and the air force. So she received those testimony from the monk also about the future husband and those character and this kind of lifestyle. And how about the Temonim story? Temonim joined the Unification Church. Dying words of Reverend Kim Son-do of Holy Lord Church. They will be misunderstood as being a promiscuous group and persecuted and imprisoned. You should seek out such a church. So she gave this dying word for her son. So Kim Son-do's oldest son, Chon Seok-jeon, read about the Ifa incident and wondered if this was the group his mother had meant. And Reverend Kim's daughter, Chon Sogon, from Busan, found the Unification Church in Chanchundong, Seoul. The Seoul Church was in turmoil since it was right after the Ifa incident, so she attended Divine Principle lectures in Busan. June 25, 1955, Chon Seok-jeon and his family joined the church. So all family joined the Unification Church, 1955, June 25. So because of him, Temonim received the message. In November 1955, Temonim in Chuncheon received a letter from Chon Seok-jeon about the new teacher and went to Daegu in December to meet him. December 1955, Temonim met her father at the Chompadon headquarters church. December 12, 1955, Temonim joined the church. January 29, 1956, Temonim established the Unification Church of Chuncheon in Yaksa-dong. And Temonim began pioneer witnessing in Chuncheon. So after joining a Unification Church, she committed and became the missionary to pioneer her place. So Chuncheon place. She opened the new church in that place. And Trumada and Trufada meet. First meeting of Trumada and Trumada, March 1956, right after Mada finished elementary school, 13 years old. Temonim took Trumada to Chompadong church and introduced her to Trufada. And Trufada's reflection, Hak Jahan has been born in the land of Korea. Heavenly Father, you have sent this wonderful woman, Hak Jahan, Han Hakcha, to Korea. Thank you. So this already we shared yesterday. And Trumada in the eyes of the members. So when members saw Trumada, they felt that exceptional Oriental features, silent, virtuous, and polite, good judgment, and keen power of observation, purity untainted by human vices, and brother's obedience to God's will. That time Trumada was 13 years old, and also Trumada also went to Sunday school in Chompadon every Sunday, 16 years old, 17 years old. So many members also saw her, those impressions which they received. So condition for true parents, perfection. God created Adam. This is Trufada's sermon. God created Adam. Adam can only be perfected together with Eve. Number 2, the absolute subject makes the absolute object. The absolute object also makes the absolute subject this way. Together, through each other, they are perfected. Number 3, vertically one, God, true Father, and true Mother. So this is Father's message. Even if God lives with love, he cannot accomplish anything alone. Love can only develop in a reciprocal relationship between two partners. Could Reverend Dr. Moon own love or inherit the Holy Spirit by staying alone? It is impossible. That is why Reverend Dr. Hak Cha-han was needed. However, where there is the grace of heaven and earth and give and take action, all the cells join in. To conclude, Reverend Dr. Moon could be perfected because of Dr. Hak Cha-han, Dr. Han Hak-cha. And so the same goes for Dr. Han Hak-cha. She could be perfected thanks to Reverend Dr. Moon. The same conditions and rules hold for finding this truth. So even for God, God could not live and could not get love if he stay only alone. And also husband and wife, also same situation. There is only begotten Son is here, but only begotten Son by himself, he could fulfill, he could be perfected or not. This is impossible. And even begotten daughter by her alone, can she fulfill to be perfect or not? This is also impossible. Two persons met together to become one. That's why they can become the perfect, that providence will be possible. So when we see that those history, 1960 and before 1960, there are many kind of providential history. There is many kind of indemnity course. There is many kind of restoration period. So they face many challenging to father, to mother, and all people were facing difficulty. But through overcoming those indemnity era, restoration era, finally we could enter the era of Choniguk. What's the God's original plan? In 1960, when they received the holy wedding, at that moment they should receive the holy wedding ceremony under the national foundation. But because of many kind of lacking situation or indemnity process and could not fulfill each responsibility at the moment, the parents should go the challenging way and even receive the holy wedding without national foundation. So from that moment, continuously, they spend the time to offer the whole life. So mother said, my life was kind of the marathon life. So each one day and one day, even cannot see the goal, even cannot see when this marathon will be finished. But to father and to mother, continuously spending this indemnity era or restoration time period until the moment of the establishment of Chonryuk. So even any kind of situation, but embrace everything under God's bosom and God's love. And True Mother came until this moment. So now 2021 and toward 2027 Providence, we are going on together with our True Mother and our all brother and sisters. So how much we are receiving many kind of guidance from our heavenly parents and our true parents. So we can continuously go forward to in order to settlement our Chonryuk and to restore the nation and world, heavily unified Korea and heavily unified world. So when we reflect our life, there are many kind of challenging and overcoming, and also there are many kind of guidance from God, from True Father, and from True Mother. So we can remind again and remember the moment again. This can become the motivation for us and go forward for the future. So during also sharing time, please also remember again what was really God's guidance directly, and through Father's guidance, through Mother's guidance to yourself, to ourselves, to share each other, remind again, and let's continue to our providence and for creating for the future. So today, thank you for everyone to join today's Fundoke, and today is the Sunday. Let's put our heart and prepare our heart to welcome our heavenly parents and true parents, and let's begin the new day with happy heart and grateful heart. Thank you once again for everyone, and let's have a great time. 감사합니다.
Thank you, Reverend Yutaka. Thank you for your guidance this morning. And greetings to everyone. It's good to see you all. Just reflecting myself about what Reverend Yutaka mentioned about the people suffering in different places. I mean, because of being in the movement, I got a chance to travel different countries, and there are beggars in every country, whether rich or poor. But I noticed that countries that have a lot seem to have a lot of beggars. When I went to America, I saw in New York City, you walk along the street and the train is underneath, and you can feel they have grates. You can feel the hot air come up through the grate. And I was walking down, and I noticed that many homeless were on top of these grates because New York can get pretty cold in winter, and so the trains, as they went underneath, generate a lot of heat, and so they put their belongings and things, and even made little cardboard huts so that they could keep warm. And I was thinking, here's an affluent country, and yet you have, there's a lot of people who are suffering and have hardship, and it seemed to me totally unnecessary. Why is it allowed? And then come back to Australia, and then go off to Solomon Islands, and because they don't have much from a Western perspective, but the islands are happy people. They're not struggling with the same sort of issues. They're just grateful for what they have. And come back to Australia, and I felt ashamed that we waste so much. When I was in America, and Father gave all the trucks to go out collecting food and NCSA, but in Florida we had started it, but we called it Shared Action. And I remember going to the farms, and thousands and thousands of pounds of potato were going to be ploughed back in just because they wanted to maintain the price. 70,000 pounds I got told. I got 1 day to move them, otherwise they're just ploughed in. And I was helping, there was these Hispanic families in Sarasota, and there was a tent village of 7,000 who came to America just so they could get a green card. But they were told that they had to work on these farms for 3 years at less than America's minimum wage to be able to earn the right to get a green card. And so the men would get in trucks, be taken around America, but the women and children would stay in these tents. So we had these trucks from Father. We would go to the farms, collect the food and bring them back. I remember one time there was a train load of vegetables that came, and they were all under refrigeration because of traveling from one state to another. And they got to where they were, and they were rejected by the company that was processing the vegetables because they weren't the right quality. And so they were going to dump them, and got the call saying, you got a day to take as much as you like, and we go with the truck and put them all into the truck and then take them down to and I guess thinking so much waste, and so much could be used to help others, and they refused to give it away to the general public at a cheaper price. They wanted to make their profit, and it really disgusted me that sort of was the prevailing attitude. They just wanted for themselves. And so poverty was everywhere, and it didn't matter whether it was a rich or poor country. It's just all was to do with the attitude. When I found someone who really wanted to help someone else, I was very grateful, for the help and to help them. But when I met people that looked good on the outside, but on the inside were not so great. I always noted about Solomon Island people when I was there, they were very honest and found it impossible to lie. I just have to ask a direct question and then they would, okay, this happened. But the Australians who were looking after them, supposed to be protecting them, would lie directly in your face with a sweet smile, and wouldn't even blink an eye about the effect that their lie was having. So I came back from Solomon Islands actually ashamed of being Australian by how we treated others who were supposed to be helping. Blackbirding happened in Australia, and the police and the army didn't actually improve that too much. Like they basically treated many of them with very low respect. Anyway, thank you, and I'll pass it on to someone else who'd like to share. Who would like to go first? Yes, Mary, go ahead. I can see your hand. Mary Moriarty.
Hi. Yeah, I wanted to share, I just mentioned first though that I also worked in Florida with Shared Action and drove those trucks to farms and distributing food.
Can you get a bit closer to the microphone? A bit voice is a bit low.
Is that better? Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, the one point, it's been brought up in for the last 3 days was, I was just thinking of True Father, the moment that he saw True Mother, and said, he said, this Hak Jahan, she's been born in Korea. I thought, what an amazing moment that was. And I was just really wondering what else Father was feeling at that time when he met True Mother for the first time. I thought, and we've that's been mentioned the last 3 days in Hundake. Must have been, for Heavenly Parent, it must have been an incredible moment too, Yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, thank you, Mary. Yes, Randall, go ahead.
We talked about the New Hope Farm in Brazil, in Jardim. Before it was there for workshops, part of the project was for curing world hunger. Basically, there was 3 purposes for the working farm. One was to make money, one was to be environmentally friendly, and one was to train members to, you know, have the heavenly lifestyle. But we would go from different parts of the world. There was 16 different nations that went to work there. And then we were meant to bring that model of a working farm back to our own area, for example, to Australia, and then set up a farm here in Australia. And then after that, bring people in from the islands to Australia so that they can learn farming techniques that they could do in their own backyard. You know, be it worm farms, be it do whatever it is, so that you can be making money yourself within your own family environment area, so that you're not dependent on a boss making enough money to pay you wages. Because sometimes the bosses, if they don't make enough money, you're the first one not to get paid. So Father was making this idea that if people can train to learn how, you know, teaching a person how to fish, teaching a person how to make money in their own area, then that would help to solve world hunger. And also for African nations, if there was a farm like that there in, you know, different places. So this was the whole concept of New Hope Farm originally. It was part of Father's ongoing prayer to solve world hunger.
Thanks, Randall. Okay. Yes, Doug, go ahead.
Just to support what Randall was saying and what seems to have developed in this conversation is that Father was the ultimate.
Yeah, your voice is a bit low for some reason.
Father was the ultimate
Better.
grassroots builder. You know, there's two ways of building things. You can think that you can build from the top down. That's centralized planning. That's communism. But to build from the bottom up, from the grassroots, Father did that. Father always empowered the low, you know, the common number, the largest number. He empowered the individual to do and to create and to build and to farm and things like that. Our problem is that we suffer from too much centralization in many ways. And just to highlight that point is what I wanted to say, because working from the grassroots, empowering the individual to work for the sake of the whole is really the best solution. And there's more, but that's all. Thank you.
Thanks. Yes, Mr. Arai, go ahead.
Thank you again, Levi Utaka and John. It's a really nice comment. And also, I think we are learning incredible mother's young age. And when Father almost passed away at hospital, and I think doctor said, Levan Moon cannot come back anymore. That time, mother gave a statement to all reader, and the mother said, "We appreciate everyone's sympathy to Father. Thank you, but most important thing is how can inherit Father's will." And I know your member, old member, done well so much, but you have not think that way, and we have to start invest 10 times, the 100 times. The mother said. Then when I read that to mother's statement, how mother can say that? How mother can say that? Quite many members, I think, invest a lot, but you have to do nothing that way. 10 times 100 times. That means mother was, being father 52 years. Then mother herself, I think, determined 10 times, 100 times. Then my question was, how she could it? I could not understand why. How can say that? Normally, it's a great leader died, and normally person is retired, but it is incredible, that moment, a transfer. And the mother says, no, stop, we're going. This is incredible. Then we started reading to mother write autobiography, and mother's especially young age, like even today, before mother met to father, I wish to free from him, from chain of fallen society. The mother's dream is to liberate God. Young age. And I think his mother really spending time, prayer, worship, and also devotion. And I said to my wife, and it's different from me. And when I was young, and I pray, it's fishing, or pray all sorts of play, and young cheeky boy. And then my wife said, "Oh well," and look at father. Father is also fishing and also wrestling, and it's go mountain, and it's wife and men and women different. And my wife encouraged me, but it is incredible. Mother's young age, and we can touch with, we can share together with everyone. It was one of the more incredible discovery, and I think no one knows. It's in this million billion people in the world, and we are the past people. We really met this, understand, and we're getting old, but that moment to mother's life, we can discover, we can see, we can share. It is incredible. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. And Suntek, to be our last person. Go ahead, Suntek.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you, Reverend John, and thank you, Reverend Yamada, for your message. And also thank you, brother, sister, share precious their own experience. And also very happy to see, from different part of Australia, all the way to King Island, and hearing the testimony, and also Sea Island brother and sister. I just recall, I think True Mother actually put a lot of emphasis on young youth experience, because mother share about her youth experience, and True Mother put a lot of effort to raise our young people. Yesterday, True Mother prepared a blessing festival, but also in True Mother's autobiography, she mentioned the importance of training when you are young. Then in the book, actually, True Mother also mentioned about the training, and mother actually mentioned about Oceania. And then I recall back experience while helping OLT, where local our youth together with overseas second generation, their training experience both in Australia and New Zealand, and then after that to Ireland. So those experience really very enriching and help to develop their identity and their faith, and make connection with Heavenly Parent and true parents actually during that, especially during that time. Even in Australia, they have a chance to visit a blessed family all the way Tasmania, Brisbane. Reverend John, at your house, you welcome them. Yeah, different parts of Australia and also New Zealand, many blessed family welcome them. So their testimony is they really inspire when they come back, when we have workshop. They how they inspire by meeting and living in a blessed family home. And then also after hard work, actually a lot of hard work in fundraising. Sometimes cold winter, they just sleep in a van with a sleeping bag, and then eat just simple, and then go on and on MFT like that. So that is a really good training. I think that's why True Mother remember, because we give out reports about that kind of activities. So True Mother remember Oceania is a kind of good place for raising up that kind of young people during that time. So when they go to Ireland, actually in the island, I find out in Solomon Island, we help to build a toilet. Actually, Solomon Island need a toilet. They say about 1,000 to 1,500, they can build one toilet. So OLT, they build a toilet, and that is an amazing experience. They come back, they say, I can't believe they don't have a proper toilet. So those project, toilet, and then a lot of painting and helping in like a Fiji, some island, and then Solomon Island, Tonga, and then that kind of experience when they come back, really they completely change. I surprised. I could see God on their face when they come back. So I think my point of sharing, I think we have the potential in Oceania. Like even New Zealand is a beautiful place, for adventure training. Australia and Ireland has a great potential, and I think one of the greatest potential is the ocean, and we have that ocean challenge as well. So I think how can we tap into this potential for our young people, unification youth, to really grow, just like Mother experienced her youth to develop herself, prepare for future, and Oceania has this great potential. I want to share, and we can work together to make this happen and prepare this environment for our youth. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Reverend Simtek. Okay. It's time now for us to offer our 7-minute prayer. I'll just share the screen and we can begin. All right, so let's begin. Arju, Arju, Arju. Thank you, everyone, and it's always good to see you all. And I hope you have a great day. And yes, I noticed Randall advertised that we're having a webinar today at 3 p.m. So he left a link in the chat. So if you're inclined to, go ahead and enjoy. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Congratulations, Mark Whitfield.
Yes.
Well done. God bless everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.